your standard farm liability policies, just your run-of-the-mill farm liability policies, 9 times out of 10 won't cover you if something happens to those pigs that can be attributed to your negligence, okay? Somehow somebody determines you were negligent, pigs died, you didn't own them, but they were in your buildings under your care. The standard type of farm liability policy won't cover that. One of the worst calls I get, I've said this before, is from a contract grower saying, I had a problem, I shut a breaker off to work in the building, I forgot to turn it back on, pigs suffocated. I called my insurance agent. The insurance agent says I don't have coverage, so now I have to pay for the pigs. I have stood up here for several years and said, you can buy coverage. You can buy a rider to cover that, what we call care, custody, and control coverage, what we call custom feeding coverage. There are companies that offer that. There are some upstairs. You can find others. You can get covered as a contract grower. Sounds great, doesn't it? Go to the next slide, slide 20. This is a case that came out in favor of the contract grower, but what happened was, and I'm using names here because it's a case, a public record, the contract grower purchased a policy, just as I and others had advised contract growers to do. He purchased a policy rider to cover custom feeding. The insurance company, well, next bullet point points out the hogs that were fed under contract died from suffocation. The contract grower filed an insurance claim and the insurance company denied coverage. Without getting into the details in the case, you can look it up online. The insurance company argued that there was no coverage, even though there was a specific rider for custom feeding. They denied coverage because of other exclusions in the policy. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. The court, the trial court, ruled in favor of the contract grower for what we call the reasonable expectations doctrine. There's a doctrine in the law that says if you purchase coverage and reasonably expect to be covered, and are not, that the courts will rule in your favor. You got to be careful with that. It's not used all that often, but it is a doctrine in the law. It goes up to